Yo, what up? You are locked into E-Dawg Radio, and this is the 30-minute chop up with your boy E-Dawg with special guest DJ Eva Lee. Not only good friends, but the longtime loyal DJ to rapper and actor Ice-T. What up, Eva?
What's going on, E-Dawg? How we living in the building, man? How we doing?
Man, we living good, man. You know, it's an honor, man, for you to be on this show, to be on E-Dawg Radio, to bless us with this interview, man. I know you're a little under the weather right now, kind of sick, but you still pulling through for this E-Dawg Radio interview, so I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, no problem.
So, you know, we're going to start it with what everybody want to know, and what's the connection. How did you hook up with Ice? How did you guys, you know, what was the first encounter like?
Well, I met Ice at an event, and it's more like a big party where he was emceeing. It was called the Veterans Auditorium in Culver City, and he was along with Battle Cat, Egyptian Lover, and this dude that was running the whole thing called Roger, and the whole crew was called the Uncle Jam's Army. They were called Uncle Jam's Army. Yeah. So I met him there, and then when he was I seen him walk in, didn't know who he was. You know, he was all, you know, nicely dressed and all that. Then when he was leaving, that's when I stopped him and said, yo, because he was emceeing the whole thing. Like the way it was flowing, and, you know, I said, yo, we might as well get together and check out some of my New York shit, and, you know, let me hear what you got going. It was like,
yeah.
Cool. So we became friends after that, came to the crib, was rocking some stuff, and we became friends on that note. Started doing parties in my, where I used to go to school at. You know, parties for the school. It was rocking. You know what I mean?
Oh, so you guys had Ice come to your school and do some things?
Yeah, me and him was doing it because he wasn't not really a big deal at the time. He was just Ice-T, and I kind of introduced him to my neighborhood where I was living at. And he was emceeing the parties where I was rocking on the tables, and you know we started doing that for a while, and then we came across some other people's cat named Unknown, and he liked the way Ice was flowing, so we did a record together with him called 6 in the Morning, and You Don't Quit.
Wow.
An independent label called Techno Hop.
Yeah. So 6 in the Morning was totally independent. What was the producer's name on that joint?
It was actually Africa Islam was a producer.
Okay, we hip to Africa Islam. Dang, that's crazy. So something that a lot of people didn't know, and if a lot of people didn't know, not only you, but Ice-T, both of you guys met in LA, but you guys both have roots in the East Coast.
Yeah, Ice was originally born, I wouldn't say raised, but he was born in New Jersey. He came to LA when he was young, like young teenager, and went to school out here. He was at Crenshaw High. As far as I know, I met him when he was just coming out of high school. So,
and you are from Brooklyn. You guys are originally from Brooklyn.
Absolutely, Brooklyn, New York, Bedford-Stuyvesant, Crown Heights, the same area where Biggie was born and raised. So
wow, did you feel like that played a big part in your relationship when you guys met in LA?
Yeah, because you know he was really Ice is down to earth, and you know he seen the originality in us. You know, we had the original turntablism, and nobody out here was really doing it. You know, it was like robots. Everybody was DJing looking like robots, stiff. And me and my brother had what they call finesse.
Yeah.
Skill. We don't do it E-Dawg. You know what I mean? That's how we get down. You know what I mean?
Oh, so you guys, you was telling me that you guys kind of brought the trickery. You guys were doing that way back then. What year you think that was? About 86, 85?
Like 85, 86, yeah.
And you, for you guys don't, I mean, we're kind of talking about you, but we are talking about also Hen G, which is biological, same mother, same father. Hen G was from the Rhyme Syndicate. So, E, the first record you did with Ice was Rhyme Page. Were you guys a group at that point?
Yeah, but when we did Rhyme Page, we didn't sign as a group, though. He signed himself. They signed him individually, and I was like partnering. So when he got that deal, it was his deal. And, you know, we just did the album with Africa Islam and put it out there, you know what I mean? So
wow.
That was that. We did, and I think actually that record, we did an extra long version, 12 inches, 6 in the Morning.
Yeah, I remember that. So, a few questions, man. So, you and Ice, you guys by the way of East Coast. You met in the West Coast. You hooked up. Was it like your brother at the same time? Did you guys come together at the same time, or was it you first and then your brother jumped on after?
Well, my brother was always with us as far as hyping and everything else, but it was technically just me and Ice too. You know, he was rapping, seeing that was DJing, so my brother was just there to be there and just for support. And you know, he was a wing dude. He was doing stage stuff, and he was doing our shows on stage and stuff. You know what I mean?
Okay, walk us through this, man. The classic album cover. Not only was the record dope, but the album cover made history. It was something that we never seen before. People were doing album covers; they were being creative, but this actual album cover made people really excited about the record cover more than the album. When they seen it, some people probably bought it just because of the cover. Not to say that the music wasn't up to par, because everything on the music tip was tight too. But the Power album cover in 1988. Walk us through the beginning of that. Did you guys know? You guys just show up to a set, or did Ice actually have this visual and it came out on the album cover just the way he visioned it?
Well, Ice has always been a visionary from the first. So the minute we got together and before we went in the studio to shoot that album cover, we already had a plan of what we were wearing, what we had going, you know, with the guns and all that, the whole bit. So, I mean, it was kind of like a fashion statement from along with Darlene wearing what she had on, and kind of caught the eyes of every man and women's eyes on the planet. So,
yeah.
You know, and the poster spoke for itself. I mean, everybody I know from New York, when that album cover came out, they had that poster on their walls like it was part of the wallpaper. I was like, damn. It was like, yo, E, man, go Darlene, man, oh my God, man. What's up with Ice? When they divorcing? When they separating? I'm like, man, you gotta knock it off, man. We ain't going nowhere. And that cover was nominated album cover of the year for that year that it came out.
It had to.
3 years in a row.
It had to. The only thing closest to that album cover at that time that you can get close to was Playboy. I mean, the cover was killing everything. I mean, they had some crazy covers back in the days too, artists. But, you know, again, record companies always wanted you to play it safe. But for some reason, Ice always tipped the jar and took it to another level. Because even having guns on your cover, you know, you had King T, he did it. But it was very rare that someone would take a chance and put that out there. You know, in the industry, which comes to this question, man. What was it like on the road after Ice released Cop Killers? What was the energy? Was you guys being harassed by law enforcement? Was it kind of, did it get a little crazy?
Yeah, it got extremely crazy, fam, because, I mean, you got to think about it. All we did was, on that record, was cop bashing. And then the president came in, President Bush came in, Senior came in and said, he must be crushed. Ice-T should not talk about the police like that. That's what the president said. So when you get the president of the United States come in and talk about a record because of its content, then you know that you up there, on you know, as far as in the music business, the rock business, you know, and heavy metal business, because it was a big deal. We had to actually, they had to drop us. And then you got Charleston Heston. He was one of the founders of Side Warner Brothers, so he got mad at the time, and he wanted the record off. So they was like, either take the record off, or we're going to drop you from the label. I was just like, I don't know if I can curse. He said, suck a fat baby dick. I'm out. So he went out of there. I don't know if it's cursing on your station either, but dude, my bad. You know,
yeah, you can.
No caffeine on the scene, you know what I mean?
So you guys had that we don't give a F attitude. Because we actually was on tour and got pulled over. And Mix can tell you this story. And the first thing the cop asked, and we was in some like hick place, was, is Ice-T on this bus? And we were like, no.
Crazy.
We were like, no, he's not on this bus. But that's when we realized how serious it was with that song. And this is the crazy thing, because you play clubs, you play events, and the security guards end up being police officers. So how did they feel about protecting you guys when you were out on the road?
Well, they had no choice because the promoters were paying them, number one. But it's the first. But as far as them personally, they wasn't too happy about it, man. Because again, it was bashing the cops. So when you come bashing police in any state, any place, they take it personally.
Yeah.
So it was, the whole thing behind the Cop Killer record is that it's not for every cop out there. It's only for the negative, bad cops.
For the crooked cops.
And crooked cops that be beating on people, stuff like that. Every cop on the planet don't be doing that, but for the most part, that's what was going on. They were doing the most. The cops and foul cops were doing that. That's why we personally put the record out. You know what I mean?
You guys were.
It was a label dropping us and stuff, so we just went on independent after that.
Yeah, you guys were always caught up in some type of controversial because Ice believed in, hey, I'm gonna be me, and if anybody try to step on that, then I'll leave. I'll do what I'll go take mine somewhere else. So which brings me to another question that I always thought about, because even though the song was a banger, the movie was a banger, you guys put out Colors, and when Colors came out, there was the introduction to other regions, small places like Seattle, Tacoma, Portland, all over the map, where cats wanted to portray the LA image, the gang banging image. It kind of opened the eyes to, even though there was, earlier records like Toddy T and people like that talked about it. We actually got a movie with it that we can visualize what Ice and Toddy T and all them guys were talking about. What was that like traveling? Because by this time, you guys have been on the road a few times, and then you come back to go on a tour again. Did you see the difference that Colors made, the impact and things, the controversy that it caused when you went back out?
Yeah, we really, absolutely, because that record, number one, was made for a movie. So when we put it out for the movie, and they visualized it in the movie and seen the way the movie went down with the Bloods and the Crips, they took it in stride and understood from watching the movie how serious the gangbanging activity was in California and Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. And then when that record impacted, and everybody seen the movie, that made the record bigger than ever. You know what I mean? Because they understood the record. When Ice was throwing the lyrics out, they understood what the record was trying to bring out and let people know how serious this gangbang stuff was in LA. Mm-hmm. So it kind of, it put everybody, it enlightened everybody on the realness on this gangbang as far as what we were trying to put out there for them to experience what it really is. Because there's a lot of nowadays, that this is real crazy. A lot of the people that's claiming Crip and Blood in this generation don't really have a clue and what it came from, where it came from, why it's what it is. Yeah. They out there gangbanging. I'm speaking for everybody all over the planet. The way it originated from was California. So when you get it from California and then you take it outside of LA and don't know the realism on why it's what it is, then it's like if you're not really, you're doing something for nothing. It's like, why you gangbanging, number one? Why you claiming these sets when you don't really know where, the reason why it's what it is in LA. Yeah. They got relatives that are killing each other, that's even Bloods and Crips, and they both, the two separate sets, they still killing each other because it goes way back into the 70s.
So it kind of, the Colors movie and the song kind of commercialized the whole Crip and Blood aspect of it, and then people were getting involved in it trying to mimic the movement. But what you're trying to say is there's really deep roots and a lot of bodies and blood been spilled over this serious situation, but it hit the entertainment world like every other thing, and people just like Crip now, cripping and putting on rags and things like that. You can wear that all over the world. Back in the days, in the 80s, you couldn't be found walking down the street with these type of colors on, or you'll be approached by an individual putting your life on the line. A question off of Facebook, man. I put a thing on Facebook asking, do anybody have any questions? DJ GMS, which is a very, legendary DJ from out of Washington, out of Spokane, Washington. He wants to know what inspired you to become a DJ.
Oh man, I started DJing when I was 13 years old, and back in New York when I was living in the projects, there was a tape circulating from the Bronx. Most of hip hop originated in the Bronx. So a lot of people put out tapes at the time, like Grandmaster Flash, Grandwoods Theodore, these other DJs that are from New York were out there. So that put me in a state of mind where, you know what, I like the way this is getting down. Let me see if I can work and do this, if I could do this. So I try to get as much tapes as I can and mimic the way they was cutting and get all the records and stack on the records and get the doubles. Because out here, they wasn't doing double records like they was in New York.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? All the records combined into the two records, they would cut them back and forth to create this particular sound, to make it sound like one record. So they would cut break beats and stuff like that. It was a big deal back when I was little. So there was an inspiration, was Flash, Grandwoods Theodore, to say that, you know, the most. And these DJs that I grew up at in New York and Brooklyn, called the Disco Twins, they were tape circulating. So that inspired me to become who I am today and put me where I need to be.
That's dope.
As far as this DJ thing.
Okay, GMS says again, what was the first record you ever played live?
First record I ever played live was probably It's Time. It's Time was a big record. Hakeem from day one, and I had that record. I had Good Times. Chic Good Times was a record I was cutting. Records like To Be Real, Sherilyn. It was all breakbeats at the time. They put me in front of some turntables.
That's
they
dope.
Kept me going and stuff. Yeah,
all right. He says GMS. These are all GMS questions. DJ GMS. He's asking some good questions. How do you feel about controllers versus vinyl?
Oh man, I totally hate control. Now I'm a vinyl dude. I got the respect of a controller because I've seen some situations where people are doing like crazy stuff on controller, but there's nothing better for me than the originality, which is the vinyl. And I mean, if I had an option, it would definitely be vinyl. But if I had a choice, if I had an option, I would definitely use vinyl. If I had a choice, I'd use vinyl. But if there was no vinyl around and I was getting paid big money, I would have to try to get down on the controller as best as I can, rock the mother effing thing as fly as I can.
Yeah, you stay up on everything. That's one thing I do notice about you. Even though you rock vinyl a lot, you stay up on the new things that's coming up and coming out.
You have to.
And you appreciate them. You never diss them.
I'm sorry, what you say?
I never hear you diss them. I always hear you say you got to get some of those, or I got to grab those.
Yeah, grab those and play with them. I've played with them before, and I'm pretty decent with them. But my vinyl is my passion, and I'm definitely gonna be doing some stuff. I got these new these things called phases. I think the man might have heard of them, and they look like dominoes. You put them on the center of the record, and you can actually. I'm gonna give you a little trick, a little say so on the reason why these things are so spectacular. They're so accurate with cue points, and the tricks you could do with them. I mean, I seen DJ Tab Money pick the record from the turntable and hold it in the air and scratch it up in midair.
Wow.
Itself in midair.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm gonna have to do something on that. Put it on my Facebook and my Instagram to show you what I'm talking about.
GMS says, may I get a drop for my mixes? Ask him, can I get a drop?
No doubt. What's his name? DMS? You said DMS?
GMS.
Oh, DMS. Okay.
GMS, G as in gangster, M as in Mary, S as in Sam. And the last but not least, he said, finally tell E thanks for being a DJ. He has been a true inspiration.
Tell him I appreciate that, man, coming from him and coming from anybody else that compliments, what I've been doing through the past 40 years, man. I work hard, man. I traveled. I played with all the best of them, Spinderella, to Jazzy Jeff, to Cash Money, and they all like one big happy family, man.
And E, that comes to me to say, you're still relevant. You still travel. Every time I talk to you, you still got gigs coming up. You're still practicing. You keep up with the big boys. You're in Las Vegas at the conventions. You and Ice just got done rocking the show recently, and you sent some video and you posted some video, and I was blown away. The crowds are still big. I'm sure that people just want to, even the young generation, have to want to set their eyes on Ice-T from the movies, from just staying relevant. But as a DJ, what I really appreciate about you is that no diss to Ice. Ice is Ice T, and you DJ Eva Lee. But at some point, you gotta keep yourself relevant when you guys ain't busy. So how do you keep yourself in the becoming a DJ that today's DJs recognize and know of? And what kind of gigs are you playing right now?
Well, I'm playing like old school hip hop gigs, and reason how I keep myself as relevant as possible is just to be original and be different than others when it comes down to spinning. Because everybody's basically doing the same thing when it comes to DJing. You want to be special. You want to be different as much as you can when it comes down to either turntablism or just rocking the spot. You want to, make yourself versatile to play everything. You just don't want to limitate yourself from playing just hip hop. So I play EDM, I play rock, I play, house music, and that's the way you get work. That's the way you keep working. Because if you try to stationize yourself or limit yourself, then you're only gonna be able to do so many different things as far as events.
Yeah.
So, festivals is a big deal for me. I love festivals. I love the club scene. But I mean, when it all boils down to it, hip hop is where I'm at. Old school hip hop. That's forever for me.
Yeah, you be touching a lot of people, man. Like you met a DJ in LA from here, and I was like, who? And then I looked him up and I recognized him, and he was dope, and you was giving him praises. That's the crazy thing is like, the problem with a lot of old school cats, like, you and I, and from a whole different era. Of course, we want our originality to stay in place, and we don't like when someone do some shortcuts and stuff like that. But one thing I noticed about you, man, you don't have a hate in your body. You don't never diss a DJ. You don't never talk down upon these cats. You know the relevance of a new song and the new pattern and the things they do, and you get it. You never always sit back and whine and compare this new rappers and all this. You just try to figure it out. One thing I always hear out your mouth is like, yeah, I got to get hip to that cat. I got to listen to some more of his music. You know what I mean? Because you understand that, man, there's planes, there's trains, and there's spaceships, and then, you know what I'm saying? Like, something that we all haven't did yet is went to the moon. And I'm sure sooner or later it's going to be easy to go to the moon.
Oh yeah, man! I'm looking forward to being on the first class for that, man. When that happens, E, I'm gonna call you up and say, "Yo, E, I'm sending you a private joint with some, some skins in there. We're gonna get on this plane first class with a little champagne and head to the moon, man. That warp speed, man. We're there, man.
We were warp speed, man. You be the first one to DJ on the moon. We are sitting here on Easeway Radio on the Easeway Show. Not the Easeway Show. Let me do that over. We are sitting here on Easeway Radio on a 30-minute chop up with my man DJ Eva Lee, legendary DJ Eva Lee. Sick, under the weather, and still pulled the interview off, man.
Man, you my man. 50 grand, no shebang, brown sugar and tan. You my motherfucking man.
Hey, what's funny is I was going to tell him how everything's a rap in E's life. I don't understand how. Now, E, that brings me to talk about this before we go. You used to rap too, right? You rapped on some.
Yeah, I still do rap, E. Come on, E. I'm in front of a microphone on a regular, man, besides the wheels. So still, baby. I get up there, man, drop a little pimp behind the wheels, man, and get them girls real nice and moist.
Okay, E, okay, here we go.
And I put them in a fresh Ferrari as well as a Rolls Royce, man. You know how we do, baby.
Do you remember your verse on Pimp Behind the Wheel? And if you do, can you say a little bit of it?
Of course I remember, man. That's like asking you, are you still driving the car, E? That's like asking you, man, are you still the man with the plan that got more women than does that got sad? Come on, let me hit you with a quote right quick, man. Yeah. It goes like this, man. Skin hitter, no quitter, no babysitter. Quick to get rid of airhead girlies that's bitter. I'm all that. F you if you don't think so. I take your mom's, make that girl my main hoe. Let's go, showtime beneath the cynic sign while E kick the dope rhyme that ass. Yep. That's what I'm peeping. Niggas never sleep in evil. I get deep in the ass, make you fatal. But that's pimping. The city, no titty, evil. We never be simping. Down with the syndicate, ripping shit up at will. My yellow nigga ice. And you eat behind it.
Man, 30-minute chopping up with my man DJ Legendary Evil Lee spitting bars. Rhyme Syndicate original. Well, you didn't heard how he met Ice-T. You didn't heard he's from the East Coast. A lot of people didn't know that. You didn't know that Ice-T was from the East Coast. A lot of people didn't know that. And they met on the West Coast soil and became legendary, man. I wanted to ask, how many people was in the Rhyme Syndicate?
We had about 12 to 13 people. We had DJ Aladdin and Dub C, which was the Mad Circle, right? It was with Crazy Tunes, God bless him. Then you had Everlast. You had Coolio. Actually, Coolio was with I think it was Coolio with the. No, he was by himself. He wasn't with the Mad Circle. It was it was.
But Coolio was in the Syndicate.
Coolio was in the Rhyme Syndicate. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Coolio was on there. Who else? I said Everlast. Then you got DJ Aladdin, Dub C, the Crazy Tunes.
Han G, right?
And yeah, say again.
Han G, your brother.
Yeah, my brother Han G. Me and him was the Spin Masters. Then you had and everybody else kind of floated though. There wasn't really that many people that really made it out there from the Syndicate compilation out. But for the most part, a lot of people came out of there and became who they are today. Like Everlast, Dub C, and Coolio. So yeah, we had a forefront team. We had an army at one point. It was good while it lasted, and we all enjoyed each other, and the tours and everything. So,
okay, so here's a little rumor. The rumor was that you guys, Ice-T, was so loyal to his crew that some of you cats would just literally go up to Ice's house, walk in without saying you come in, just come through and hang out at the pad at Ice's house at any time. Is that true?
For the most part, but then again, it depends because he was always moving around. But yeah, I mean, if we're local, then yeah, we can do that, make that call, pop up if he's there. But for the most part, he was moving around doing other things. So, but yeah, if we're locally, we hit him.
Yeah, I heard there was a few times Darlene used to get mad about cats popping up and just coming into the crib.
Yeah, she was. There was a few times she was, but she learned to accept it because that's Ice's people. You can't shut down the family.
Yeah, Ice had that type of loyalty to his crew. I was hearing about that, man, and I was like, what? I mean, sometimes Darlene would just be chilling in the crib, we heard, and cats would just all of a sudden pop up at the crib, and it was no, hey, get some clothes on or whatever. Speaking of Darlene, man, you told me that you actually knew Darlene before Ice.
Well, we both met her at the same time.
Okay, yeah, that's what it was.
He had her eye on her, so we was leaving the spot called the Radiotron. That's where Ice met her at. So we were leaving, and we jumped in my car, and he kind of looked at me and said, "Yo, man, that girl is fine as hell." Blah blah blah. And me with my New York state of mind said, "Okay, well, you want to holler at her?" He's like, "Hell yeah!" I said, "Come on, let's go back in there and get you that girl, man. Come on." So we walked in there. I'm in my New York state of mind. I'm walking by her, looking around, and, saying, "What's up?" Then she was this dude. I said, "Yo, y'all together?" And he was like, "Nah, that's just my friend." I said, "All right, cool. Yo, Ice, this is so. What's your name, darling?" "Oh, yeah, Ice is Darlene. Darlene's Ice-T." He was, he found to be very attractive, and he was feeling you, and he had to say something to you. So I had to bring him back inside the house. I had to bring him back in the building in the car. So just make it work. Come on, talk to my man. It's my man. Come on, make it happen.
Wow.
That was all. And that was all my mind state right there. Was she to be trying to connect them two together, man. And that's what happened. And they was inseparable since then, man.
This is dope. This is dope for one reason, is that I love to hear a story where the DJ actually came, got it at the same time as the rapper. Like we started this. And I'm talking.
It goes back to one of my famous MCs, MC Shan. And he said it best. I want to hear the story again and again, how it all has started way back when. Back in the day in LA scene, when I was over there, just keeping it clean, the bridge.
Yeah, that's real talk though. That's real talk because that's the way. You know, the DJ had a lot to do with the process of making records and being involved in the records, man. Nowadays, you know, the producer is just a producer. The DJ is just a DJ. Back then, your DJ was a producer. He made beats. He told you. I remember going into the studio and your producer DJ would say, "This is what I was thinking on that goes on this track," because he wrote it, so he knows. And he either had the hook or he had a lot of process. It was DJ Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince. It was Cash Money and the other rapper. It wasn't just, you know, the rapper. But one thing I do see that's inspiring is that these album covers show the history. You know, you're with Ice on the first cover. You're with Ice on the second cover. That tells a lot about the relationship that you guys had when it comes to music and respect. So with that said, man, I want to thank you for chopping it up on the Eads Way Radio tip. Thank you for being sick and still pulling this out, man. And man, Merry Christmas, brother.
Happy holidays to you, too, my brother man, with the mother man, with the other brother man, of course. Merry Christmas to everybody out there. Happy New Year, and stay safe, stay healthy, and you know, take care of you and your family.
No doubt. All right, E.
Be another one after me, a hustler. 6 in the morning, police at my door. Fresh Adidas squeak across the bathroom floor. Out my back window, I make my escape. Didn't even get a chance to grab my old school tape. Mad with no music, but happy 'cause free. And the streets to a player is the place to be. Got a knot in my pocket weighing at least $1,000. Gold on my neck, my pistol's close at hand. I'm a self-made monster of the city streets, remotely controlled by hard hip-hop beats. But just living in the city is a serious task. Didn't know what the cops wanted, didn't have time to ask. Word. See my homeboys cooling way out. Told them about my morning cold, bugged them out. Shot a little dice till my knees got sore. Kicked around some stories about the night before. Posse to the corner where the fly girls chill. Threw action at some freaks till one bitch got ill. She started acting silly, said we would not quit. Call us all punk pussy, said we are one shit. As we walked over to her, hoe continued to speak. So we beat the bitch down in the goddamn street. But just living in the city is a serious task. Bitch didn't know it hit her, didn't have time to ask. Continue clocking freaks with immense posteriors, rolling in a blazer with a Louis interior. Solid gold, the ride was raw. Bust the left turn was on Crenshaw. Shiny shine was the driver, no need to freaks hell. Had a beeper going off like a high school bell. Looked in the mirror, what did we see? Fucking blue lights, LAPD. Pigs searched our car, their day was made. Found an Uzi 44 and a hand grenade. Threw us in the county, high-powered block. No freaks to see, no beats to rock. Didn't want trouble, but the shit must fly. Squabble with the sucker, shanked him in the eye. But just living in the county is a serious task. Nigga didn't know what happened, didn't have time to ask. Back on the streets after 5 in the deuce. 7 years later, but still had the juice. My homeboy Hen G put me up on the track. Told me E's rolling villain, BJ's got the sack. Bruce is a giant that sees clocking dough. Bebop's a pimp, my old freak's a hoe. The battering ram's rolling, rocks are the thing. Life has no meaning and money is king. Then he looked at me slowly and Hen had to grin. He said, man, you out early, we thought you got 10. Opened up his safe, kicked me down with cold cash. Knew I would get busy, he didn't waste time to ask. I bought a Benz with the money, the rest went on clothes. Went to the strip, start pimping the hoes. My hair grew long on my 7-year stay. When I got it done on my shoulders it lay. Hard from the joint, but fly to my heart. I didn't want trouble, but the shit had to start. Out with my crew, some punks got loud. Shotgun blast echoed through the crowd. 6 punks hit, 2 punks died. All casualties were applied to their side. Human lives had to pass just to talk a bunch of trash. We didn't know who they were, no one had time to ask. SWAT team leader yelled, hit the floor. Reached in my pocket, pulled my 44. Dove across the room, peeped out the window. 20 cops jumped behind a Pinto. Out the back door like some damn track stars. Broke down an alley, jumped into a car. Suckers didn't even see us, they must have been blind. Black wire touched red, the car was mine. We hadn't done nothing, but some suckers got shot. Hit the first turn, goddamn roadblock. Broke through the block and we did it fast. Cops would have shot us on sight, they wouldn't have took time to ask. The rollers gave chase at a serious speed. One more conviction was all I need. This shit was for real, it was no lottie-dottie, cause the boys had to pin this shit on somebody. And me and my crew, we were known to get ill. We carried heat for protection, but not to kill. We bust a corner doing 60, one police car spun. And all I was thinking was murder one. Must have moved into an alley and did it right. And me and my crew were gone into the night. Broke to my old ladies who threw me a bath. She didn't even know what happened, didn't care, didn't care. We made love like crazy on top of the sheets. This girlie was my worldly, a natural freak. She ran her tongue over each and every part of me. Then she rocked my Amadeus while I watched TV. A technician with a mission, that's what she was. If there had been a crowd, she would have gotten applause. This girl did everything on earth to me that could be done. Then she backed off and teased me so I couldn't come. Then she cold got stupid, pushed me on the floor. Had me begging to stop while I was screaming for more. After she waxed my body, she let me crash. She knew her loving was deaf, she didn't waste time to ask. Up the next morning feeling good as hell. Sleeping with a girlie, show beats to sell. Hit the boulevard in my AMG. Hoes catching whiplash, trying to glimpse the T. Ring on my mobile, yes, cellular. Got to have a phone when I'm in my car. Was my homeboy red, some say he's insane. Broke his bitch jaw for smoking cane. Told me to meet him at the airport. Said he's jumping bail, said he just left court. Caught the first thing smoking in a serious dash. We didn't know where we were going, didn't care, didn't ask. Fell asleep on the plane and so did he. Woke up chillin' in NYC. Called him my posse when I got there. Hit the Latin Quarter in Union Square. Rooftop Devil's Nest, the rest we passed. Back door to Palladium just for class. About 4 a.m. we crashed the Deuce. We never catch static cause my boys got juice. Deuced into the Bronx, the rest I head. Where a shootout jumped off, 9 people lay dead. It sounded like it happened with a Mac 10 blast. But it was 6 in the morning, we didn't wake up to ask.